Property laws are a very important part of our modern-day society. Under property law is included real property and intellectual property. As defined by the World Intellectual Property Organization, intellectual property are creations of the mind. Intellectual property is subsequently divided into 4 classifications. These include trademarks, trade secrets, patents, and copyrights. Copyright law, as David Friedman would characterize it, protects expressions but not ideas, where patents protect ideas but not expressions. The internet pirating of music is a direct violation of copyright laws. Under copyright law, the owners of intellectual property maintain basic ownership rights. Among these rights is the prohibition of unauthorized reproductions of the creator's work in any form. Though originally ascribed to written works, such rights have been extended to music. When reproduced or duplicated and then distributed without the owner's consent, as occurs in internet piracy, the rights protecting against unauthorized duplication and distribution are violated. Legal convention maintains that copyright protections benefit the owners of intellectual property. Fundamental economic theory asserts that copyright protections propose an incentive to the intellectual property's owner. By exerting control over its usage, owners can command recognition and royalties or other economic benefits for the usage of their works. This encourages original creators to continue creating intellectual property, which will in turn foster human creativity and innovation. This also encourages other creators to produce protected intellectual works themselves. The benefits are passed to multiple parties, the owners in the form of financial compensation, and society in the delivery of a demanded product. If owners' copyright protections are violated, they lose their incentive to create original works. This limits supply and makes the market less competitive. Copyright law protects owners and social benefits. Not protecting copyright would be a loss for creators and promote scarcity. Piracy is made easy through widespread internet access and the means to duplicate digital media. In the late 1990s, centrally hosted and peer-to-peer networks for file sharing emerged. Piracy rates have grown substantially in the last 2 decades. The International Federation for the Phonographic Industry calculated the United States music industry's revenue to be $14 billion in 1999. By 2015, revenue had decreased to $7 billion. The Institute for Policy Innovation cites a $12.5 billion loss in music industry revenue to piracy. Their 2017 report also outlines a loss of 71,060 jobs, a loss of $2.7 billion in worker earnings, and a loss in $422 million in tax revenue to internet music piracy in the United States. However, the methodology in the projection of such statistics is questioned by the United States Government Accountability Office report. Estimations of lost revenue rely on estimations of sales and calculations of lost sales, a controversial concept. Additionally, confounding variables may be at play, as legal streaming alternatives have displaced physical sales in the last decade.
Several landmark civil and criminal copyright cases have influenced the legality and the future of internet file sharing. In the well-known case, AM Records versus Napster, the United States Court of Appeals ruled that a peer-to-peer file sharing service could be held liable for copyright infringement. This case set a precedent that prevents file sharing services from facilitating piracy. They cannot protect themselves from liability with the argument that it was the service's users that decided to share illegal copies. The case United States versus Dove significantly altered piracy's legal repercussions. Defendant Daniel Dove was found guilty of criminal copyright infringement and conspiracy to commit criminal copyright infringement arising from his involvement in an internet piracy organization. Dove was ordered to serve 18 months in prison and paid a $20,000 fine. The Recording Industry Association of America and Lionsgate Entertainment both submitted requests for restitution. However, the U.S. District Judge denied the victims restitution. He concluded that the government had failed to prove each victim's actual loss. Based on the fundamental economic principle that demand decreases as price increases, the court doubted that consumers would have actually paid for the music they pirated. This ruling set precedent that limits restitution claims based on the number of illegal downloads. The opinion argued that each illegal download does not equate to a lost sale. With a great deal of illegal music downloading occurring worldwide, there is potential for an alternative method that is legal and that will improve customers' ease and access to file sharing. Free streaming may be that alternative method emerging in the market. In the last decade, alternatives like Spotify, Pandora, Apple Music, and YouTube Red have emerged as legal means to stream copyrighted works. These services increase the accessibility customers have to a variety of music files. These lawful websites provide safe, virus-free access to subscribers, while also offering an expanding amount of content for a variety of tastes. The company has agreements in place with the right holders of the content that allow for them to share the music and for their subscribers to stream. Most of the revenues from monthly fees and advertisements go directly to the right holders of the music. Online streaming services provide a primarily free and legal solution to the piracy problem, which has become a pressing issue with the rapid increase in internet users. The easy access that users have to this legal content makes people less likely to illegally download music, therefore reducing the amount of piracy in the music market.
Digital copyright enforcement is wrought with controversy. Previous efforts to prevent copyright infringement have proven to be costly and ineffective. The costs of actually deploying measures to prevent copyright infringement are inefficient, enormously expensive, and essentially impossible. Litigation costs alone can add up quickly. Between 2006 and 2008, the Recording Industry Association of America spent $64 million in litigation fees, bringing in only $1.4 million in settlements. That's a 2% yield through litigation for the RIAA. But expensive lawsuits have not yet shown themselves to be an effective deterrent, as piracy still continues in the United States. In spite of such criticism, piracy has its own advocates. In a 2010 paper, two economists, Bella Flame and Peets, found 3 benefits of internet music piracy. First, piracy plays a sampling role in the distribution of music. Consumers can try before they buy, ultimately leading to a legitimate sale. Second, piracy creates a network effect. As the number of people listening to legal or illegal copies of Katy Perry's Firework increases, then the social pressure to listen to Firework increases as well. Demand rises, and then people are then driven to purchase the song. Lastly, they argue that the demand for complements, like merchandise or concerts, increases with increased piracy. Piracy can also be seen as a step towards Pareto efficiency, with an increase in social welfare. Some even argue that copyright protections are a form of rent-seeking, diverting money toward record companies. However, internet music piracy ultimately disturbs economic efficiency by reducing producer surplus and increasing consumer surplus, resulting in deadweight loss in the market. Piracy is seen as a prime example of the free rider problem. The free rider problem occurs when consumers use a common resource without paying. When multiple parties are involved, each thinks that they can contribute less to a common resource while the others contribute more. This can result in market failure and will prevent the efficient outcome. Piracy allows for consumers to use a resource without paying, directly undercutting the incentive model of copyright protection.
Property laws are a very important part of our modern day society. Oh shoot, okay, take 2.
They argue that the demand for I can't see.
The access that you get.
When multiple, damn.
The owners of, oh gosh, I keep losing my train of thought. This is harder than I thought it would be.
Each thinks that they can take down. The RIAR, the recording in, damn it. I know, yeah.
No, it's like harder than you think it should be.
Is that it? Woo!